Good morning, friends. Today I am going to discuss paper 3.2 soft skills for business of third semester BBA, Bangalore University, unit number 1, elements of communication. In this unit I will be discussing on the process of communication. Before starting the process of communication, let us first recap what we have discussed in the last class. In the last class, we had a discussion on different forms or type of communication, the meaning of different forms or types of communication, and their relative importance with relative examples, as well as multiple choice questions, descriptive questions and homework. Now let us discuss the next topic of unit number 1, communication process. Communication process means the various elements and their functions or roles involved in communication activity. That means there are various functions that are performed step by step from the sender to the receiver to the feedback, and it is a perpetual process. It involves so many roles and so many functions. The very first element involved in the communication process is the sender, or we can call it as the source of message or source of information. Here the communication process starts with the sender. Sender is the person or group who wants to transmit the message to another person or another group. He or she is not interested in words or date or symbols themselves, but uses them for conveying the meaning to others. These are the people who initiate the action of communication, who generate the messages, who generate the ideas, and as per the directions following the hierarchy, they convey their messages, their information or their thoughts to other interested group in the organization. The second important element in the process of communication is the message. It can also be called as the content of the message. It is the information that needs to be conveyed in the form of symbols, information, opinions, or any data to the other interested parties. Message has no meaning. Actually, message itself has no meaning. They do not indicate any meaning. The meaning actually lies in the minds of the receiver, how they receive it, how they interpret it. most of the time when messages are sent from the top level to the mid level and low level, understanding of the message gets spoiled up. I say not most of the times, few times. For example, if the manager sends the information to his or her subordinates stating the deadline to finish a particular activity, the message has no meaning in it, but it indicates something. It indicates discipline and order inside the organization. For the same message, if the receiver of the message misunderstands it and may interpret in another way, maybe the subordinate may interpret it as the act of annoyance, the act of irritation, the act of building up pressure, but it is not the case so. That is why I told message just indicate the meaning. Meaning lies in the minds of the receiver of the message. If the receiver of the message receives the message in proper form, understand it in proper form, and pass the same information to his fellow colleagues, then there will not be any barrier to the effective communication. Otherwise, the communication will disturb, the communication will not pass on, and the communication will not actually reach its goal for which it is meant. The third important aspect of the elements of process of communication is encoding. Encoding means putting the meaning of the message into words, symbols, gestures or other form of expression for the purpose of sending an intentional message. That means if somebody wants to communicate with other interested parties, they can communicate in the form of oral communication, written communication, non-verbal communication, so that others can understand the intention or others can understand the purpose of the message or information. It is just use of words, symbols or gestures, verbal as well as non-verbal form of communication, so that the very basic purpose is served. The fourth important element in the process of communication is medium. It is also called as the channel used for communication. In other words, these are the methods used for conveying the proposed message or the proposed information. These are the vehicles used to transmit or convey the message. For business communication, commonly used channels can be telephones, letters, memos, or these days, thanks to the revolution in the field of internet, emails. So, the person who is proposing the communication, that is the sender, can make use of telephone, internet, letters, memos, emails, etc. to convey the information or message to the interested parties. These days we can see multiple mediums and channels or vehicles are used to convey the message or information to the interested parties. There is a choice. It depends upon the accessibility, the connectivity, the network, the database available, and the time frame. Depending upon all these factors, the people who are involved in sending the message or information will select the appropriate vehicle or medium or channel to transmit the information. If there is a short period of time and the information to be conveyed is important, and the company has the database, telephone numbers, email IDs of the interested parties, then they can make use of emails. If there is a time for sending the message or information and to get the feedback, then the company or the person in charge may make use of letters, memos and other sources of sending the messages. The fifth important element of communication process is the receiver of the message or the audience for whom this communication is intended. A receiver may be a person or a group of persons who perceives the message and attaches some meaning to the message. In the reasonably good communication situation, the intended message is received by the receiver. But in the imperfect situation, it is possible that the delivered written message may be buried under the heaps of paper lying on the recipient's desk, or oral message may be forgotten by the listener. Therefore, audience or the receiver forms the second important component to be present, who are going to give response or feedback to the sender or to the interested parties, on whose feedback and response the overall communication process is standing. Therefore, when we are selecting the receiver or audience, it may be for advertising of housing loan, it may be for promotion of a particular product, it may be of launching a new product in the new market. Audience or the receiver play an important role to whom this communication need to be sent. I will give one small example. If any detergent company has manufactured a baby soap, that baby soap has been test marketed. Before commercialization, they want one more test marketing. For that, what is the strategy that they adopt? Basically, for baby products, they approach the gynecologist. They go and approach the gynecologist. They may present their sample and they may request the concerned authorities to distribute free of cost to the patients, whoever are admitted and whoever are having babies there. And they may collect the data of those patients or parents from the doctors in the form of address, maybe in the form of telephone number or email IDs, and later on they may get the reply and feedback from them. So, while selecting the audience, one should have the database and proper selection of proper audience or proper receiver is important in the process of communication. When a company, I will give one more example. If a company has manufactured a new mosquito mat, the question arises where this is going to be tested. Who are the receivers? Who are the audience? They may select a geographical location of a slum area where there is a problem with that of these mosquitoes. They will go and distribute the samples and collect back the feedback. Anyhow, in the next classes I will be discussing in detail about these concepts. So, receiver is an important entity here whose feedback makes complete two-way communication process. As earlier I told you, to make two-way communication, which is the best method of communication, in that process there should be a sender of the message or information and receiver of the message and information accompanied by the response and feedback from the receiver or both. The sixth important component is decoding. Decoding is one of the important element of communication process. Even if the message is received, it is possible that it is not understood in the same sense and spirit as the sender intended to be, because the receiver decodes it differently. Decoding means attaching meaning to the message. Meanings are already there in the message, meanings are already there in the minds of the receiver. As I told you earlier, a message may be just a content or an information. It individually may not have the meaning. Where the meaning of this message lies? It lies in the mind of the receiver. So, the receiver, after receiving the message, if understands it in a proper manner, in the similar spirit and similar way, then the feedback is possible, then the union of mind is possible, union of heart is possible, then the communication process will be complete. Therefore, if someone is sending some information, some other guy or some other fellow colleague is taking it in another way, it does not serve the meaning of communication, or the communication process is incomplete. Most of the times it so happens. When I say glass of water, it may be for drinking or washing the hands. When I say glass of water, some people may take Kaveri water. Some people may take it in another way. If I say need to travel through a vehicle, some may think of two-wheeler, some may think of four-wheeler. There should be a specific set of mind to decode the meaning behind the messages received. If we are working in a particular situation, the type of messages, the nature of messages, we need to understand. We are understanding in a we are working in a workplace, in a hospital, the terminology is like that only. When we are working in a Bharatla, the meaning is so. When we are working with a chartered accountant, the meaning of words changes. So, the meaning and their decoding lies in the minds of the receiver of the message. Therefore, decoding play a very important role. It is a cognitive approach wherein the receiver receives the meaning in the same way as the sender has sent him or her. The very important aspect now is the seventh one, feedback. It is also called as receiver's response to the sender. Receiver's response to the sender. When the feedback is not given, when the feedback is absent, we cannot call it as a two-way communication. To make two-way communication happen, there should be sender, receiver and the feedback. Feedback is the reversal of communication process in which the receiver expresses the response to the sender's message. The response or reactions may be smiles, it could be sign, it may be asking you a question or calling further explanation or affirmation. As I told you, need not be oral or written. Feedback can be through body language, but response matters. Sometimes when the meaning is not properly understood or when the meaning is complex, response becomes difficult. Response is not fruitful. The person who is receiving the message may understand it in another way. Receiver's response to the sender is a very important element in the process of communication. The last important aspect of communication process is environment. It is the context or background in which communication takes place. If these environmental factors are conducive, if they are favorable, if they are comfortable, if they are peaceful, then the communication will be successful. If the environment is not peaceful, it is in disorder, it is uncomfortable, there is so much of noise while communication, talking orally or through telephone, at that time the communication process may be at risk. The communication may not be understood in the complete similar manner in which it is defined. So, having a peaceful atmosphere, comfortable atmosphere, an atmosphere without noise, communication needs it. It is the essential part to make communication successful. Now, let us recap the important components of communication process. There should be the sender of the message, message itself, encoding of the message, medium, receiver of the message, decoding of the message, feedback and the environment. After having understood these important concepts, let us move on to understand the model of communication process. If we see a flow chart, here you can see two models I have mentioned. One model is one-way communication model. Second model is two-way communication model. Let us take the example of one-way communication model, which is not either famous or acclaimed. Here you can see the sender and the receiver. The sender sends the message. You can see the message is encoded by him. They may use any channel for sending the message, and the receiver receives the message, and there is no opposite arrow mark. There is no opposite arrow mark means there is no response. Only the arrow marks are moving towards right, towards right, from sender to the receiver. There are no opposite arrow marks from receiver to the sender. Here there is the absence of response. The receiver may have understood this, might not have understood this. We do not know. This is one model. The second model is two-way communication model wherein you can see the sender encode the message, send the message using a one particular channel to the receiver. The receiver encode as sender, he understood the message, he used the channel, he decode it as receiver and gives the feedback to the sender. You can see the difference of arrow marks here. In the first model you can see only the arrow marks moving from sender to the receiver. Here you can see the arrow marks are moving from sender to the receiver and from receiver to the sender. There is a feedback process. The receiver is understanding. He may understand it in a right way or wrong way. That is a different issue. But the information is replied. The information is given feedback. The information is responded. Now, I hope that we had made a fruitful discussion on the process of communication, the various elements, functions or roles which are involved in the overall communication process, and the environment and its role in making communication effective, understandable and easily perceivable. Let us summarize this. The study of communication process and the various elements involved in the communication activity like the sender, message, encoding, medium, receiver, decoding, feedback, environment, etc. and their respective roles to make communication effective is needed for the persons in all professions like doctors, engineers, chartered accountants, people in entertainment industry or in the education industry, etc. to cultivate skills as needed for their work. One thing is for sure now that the process of communication may be one way or two way, but there should be the process of communication so that the meaning, the messages, the information need to be conveyed, should be conveyed in proper way. But by knowing these channels in a working environment where a particular person or group of persons are working, they should follow these channels to make communication effective. Otherwise, and keep in mind whenever they are sending or receiving the message, both the parties to the communication should keep in mind the various elements in the process of communication which make communication effective. Otherwise, by ignorance or by negligence, the overall impact of communication may be wasted. It can be the waste of time, energy, effort or money. Therefore, the overall communication process should involve the above mentioned 8 elements to make communication successful. Dear students, I hope you have understood the communication process, and I will be sending you the multiple choice questions and descriptive questions. You can refer them, cross check them and refer to the study material. If you have any doubt, you can clarify with me and do the homework in time. I will meet you in the next class. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care. Bye-bye.